There is a kind of person who destroys their own life not through failure, not through weakness, but through talking too much. They hand people the weapons. They offer the map to their own heart. They speak when the wisest thing they could ever do is stay completely, terrifyingly silent. Laozi saw this thousands of years ago. And what he understood about silence, about concealment, about the sacred privacy of the self, it is more relevant right now, today, in your life, than almost anything else you have ever been told. This is not about being secretive. This is not about distrust. This is about something far more dangerous that no one warned you about. There are 5 things, 5 specific things, that the moment you reveal them to the wrong person, you lose something you can never get back. Your power, your peace, your path forward. Let us begin. The first thing you should never reveal is your next move. Not your dream, not your plan, not your vision, nothing about what you are building, what you are working toward, what you are quietly becoming. Here is the brutal truth that most people learn too late. The moment you speak a goal out loud, your brain begins to treat it as already done. You get the social reward of people nodding, of people saying, "Wow, that's amazing," and your mind registers that as progress. It is not progress, it is theater. And while you are performing your future for an audience, someone else is quietly building theirs. But there is something even darker at work here. Not everyone who smiles at your dream is celebrating it. Some people smile and then go home and hope, quietly, that you fail. Not because they are evil, because you reminded them of what they have not done. Your ambition is a mirror, and mirrors make people uncomfortable. Laozi wrote that the Tao that can be named is not the eternal Tao. The moment you put your deepest truth into words and hand it to the world, you have already weakened it. What is sacred becomes ordinary. What is powerful becomes a conversation. Guard your next move with the same intensity that you would guard your life. Because in a very real sense, it is your life. The second thing you should never reveal is the depth of your pain. This one will hurt to hear, because we live in an age that tells you to be open, to be vulnerable, to share your wounds and let people in. And there is truth in that. With the right people, in the right moments, vulnerability is holy. But most people are not the right people. Most people do not have the emotional architecture to hold your pain without using it. Not always consciously, not always cruelly. But pain shared in the wrong room becomes gossip. It becomes a way for others to feel superior. It becomes the story people tell about you when you are not present. Did you know they struggled with? And suddenly your wound is their entertainment. The wolf does not explain its hunger. The river does not apologize for its depth. You are allowed to suffer quietly. You are allowed to rebuild in private. You are allowed to rebuild in private. You are allowed to emerge from your darkest season without ever letting anyone know how dark it truly was. There is a power in private pain. It forges something in you that public pain never can. When no one saw you break and you still came back, that strength belongs entirely to you. It cannot be taken. It cannot be questioned. It cannot be diminished by someone who is not there. Keep your deepest pain close, not to hide it from healing, but to protect it from those who would use it. The third thing you should never reveal is how much you know. This is perhaps the most counterintuitive lesson Laozi ever taught, and also the most lethal to ignore. We live in a world that rewards performance. Everyone is performing their intelligence, their awareness, their insight, broadcasting it endlessly, loudly, constantly. And the person who stays quiet, who listens more than they speak, who asks questions instead of making declarations, that person is always underestimated. And being underestimated, truly, consistently underestimated, is one of the most powerful positions a human being can occupy. When people think you know less than you do, they reveal themselves to you. They say things they would never say to someone they considered a threat. They show you their real strategy, their real motives, their real character. You become invisible in the best possible way, a witness to the unguarded version of the world. Laozi understood that the wisest person in the room is almost never the loudest. True mastery does not need an audience. True knowledge does not need to announce itself. The candle that burns brightest does not scream about its light. It simply illuminates. When you constantly display how much you know, you also display exactly where your edges are. You tell people where to push. You tell them what you fear. You tell them what you are still trying to prove. That is a blueprint. Never give anyone your blueprint. The fourth thing you should never reveal is who you truly love and what you truly value. This is the most dangerous exposure of all. Because in a world where people compete, manipulate, and sometimes deliberately wound, the things you love most are the things that can be used against you most effectively. This does not mean hide your love. This does not mean become cold. This means be very, very careful about who gets to see what matters to you. Your children, your deepest friendship, your sacred creative work, your quiet dream that you have never said aloud to anyone. These things, in the hands of someone who means you harm, become leverage. History is full of stories about people who were not defeated at their strongest point. They were defeated at the thing they loved. The warrior who could not be broken by pain was broken by threatening what he cherished. The woman who survived every professional attack was finally brought down through the relationship she never protected. Love without discretion is love made vulnerable to the entire world. Laozi said, "The soft overcomes the hard, the gentle overcomes the rigid." But that wisdom cuts both ways. Your softness, your tenderness, your love, your attachment is also the place where you are most easily broken. Protect it not by eliminating it, but by being selective about who gets close enough to see it. The fifth thing you should never reveal is your absolute limits. Never let anyone know exactly how far they can go before you break. Never let anyone know the precise line that, if crossed, you will endure and still stay. Because the moment they know your limit, they will push right up to it, every single time, and stop just before you leave. You will spend your life living at the edge of your own tolerance. This is how people get trapped. In relationships, in friendships, in workplaces, in family dynamics that should have ended years ago, someone discovered the limit, and then they used it. Not once, forever. When your limits are unknown, you carry a kind of power that cannot be calculated. People do not know what will make you walk away. They do not know what you will or will not accept. And that uncertainty, that quiet, unspoken uncertainty, makes them careful. It commands a respect that no loudly stated boundary has ever commanded. Laozi wrote that to know others is wisdom, but to know yourself is enlightenment. Know your limits deeply, privately, completely. But keep that knowledge to yourself. Let the world wonder. Let them hesitate. Let them never be entirely sure. Now here's the final truth, the one that holds all 5 of these lessons together. The world will constantly pressure you to be transparent, to share more, to explain yourself, to prove yourself, to justify your silence, your boundaries, your choices. And there is a version of you, the version that wants to be understood, that craves validation, that is tired of being alone with what it carries, that will want to comply. Resist that version of yourself with everything you have. Not because people are your enemies, but because your inner world, your plans, your pain, your knowledge, your love, your limits, that is the most sacred territory you will ever own. And the most dangerous thing a person can do is throw open the doors to that territory and invite everyone inside. Laozi did not teach silence because he was afraid. He taught it because he understood that the deepest rivers make the least noise, that the most powerful forces in nature, gravity, time, the turning of the earth, operate without announcement. That true strength does not need to explain itself. You are allowed to be a mystery. You are allowed to be known only in parts, only by few, only when you choose. Your silence is not weakness. Your privacy is not coldness. Your discretion is not deception. It is self-preservation. It is wisdom. It is the oldest form of power there is. Never forget, the one who controls what is known about them controls far more than they appear to. And those who appear to control nothing often control everything.